I don't even know how to start this video. I'm in my room with windows closed, my new air purifier, because my neighbor is fumigating. He's been fumigating a lot the last couple months and has actually been in the hospital a couple times because of it. So if you couldn't tell from the title, if you didn't know if you read it correctly, it's true. I'm pregnant. I guess it's my turn. I can't believe I'm like tearing up right now. This hasn't really happened since I announced that. I don't know why it is now. I'm in shock, even though this was actually planned. And I feel so fortunate to be able to say that. I haven't posted a video in a long time. I want to say it's not because I was pregnant or anything like that, but probably was. I just haven't been in a place where I felt like filming myself. We've been doing a lot of projects on this farm and I've been busy filming those things. So I am still in shock. At the time of this recording, I am actually a couple days from being 20 weeks pregnant, which is halfway to giving birth. Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't feel like I'm talking about myself right now. I'm 36 years old. I was 35 when I got pregnant. I had probably been ready to be pregnant for over a year, like really, really ready, feeling the yearning in my bones, my soul, to be a mother and to carry a child myself, which I never had this desire until 2021 when I did my first ayahuasca ceremony, actually. Before that, I was somewhat open to having kids, but more the adoption route. I never saw myself being pregnant because I've never been pregnant before. A lot of crazy things happened in that ceremony I did in Peru. And I experienced being a mother, carrying a child, saw my future daughter. I don't know if I'm going to have a boy or girl. We're going to wait till I take that thing out of me and check. In my visions, though, I've had multiple visions during plant ceremonies of a daughter. But I kind of stopped feeling that energy in my womb a couple months ago. So I really just have no idea what it's going to be, and it's going to be really fun to surprise us. Yes, it's Simon's baby, if you were wondering. We were talking about getting pregnant from the time I actually did in like 6 months. We were talking about getting married, getting pregnant. We were ready for those two things within like 6 months of kind of preparing our lives a little more, like financially and with our living situations. And we did not expect, neither of us, that I would get pregnant literally on our first try. Very first attempt. Mind-blowing. Yeah, I mean, I am older, but I've also never been pregnant before. I've also had a Reiki healer like 3 years ago tell me it would be difficult for me to get pregnant because my progesterone was low. And I've never used birth control. I tried it in my early 20s, like when I was maybe 20, 19 years old. And I knew that it was just, my body hated it. And so, yeah, we did not expect it to happen so fast. But this baby was ready to come into the world. I'm just in shock because in my 20s, I had about 3 boyfriends in my 20s, but so I've been single for most of my life, like a lot more single than anyone else I've ever met. It's been difficult for me to find men that I really saw a future with, and I wasn't really willing to diddle-daddle around with someone who I didn't want to spend the rest of my life with and start, to work together as a team. I mean, the longest relationship in my 20s was 2.5 years, and it was like off and on, like it wasn't real. And it was when I was like 21, it wasn't a healthy relationship. And the other 2 were like great, healthy, beautiful relationships. They just ended because I knew that it wasn't the person I chose, you know? And vice versa. I wasn't for them either. So I finally met this guy out in the countryside of Bolivia 2.5 years ago. And he's my baby daddy. So I feel like I'm talking about someone else because I just was thinking I was never going to find the right man for me. It's like I believed it, but it was really hard to truly believe, you know. You watch your friends, like I've watched my cousins, friends from high school getting pregnant since I was 16, some even younger. I remember a 13-year-old friend getting pregnant, and it's just been like, being from Texas, a constant thing, and it never was me, and so it felt like it was never going to be me. So this does not feel like my body right now. I feel this disconnection that it's not happening to me because it never has before. And I'm very connected with my body. Since I've had so many injuries and had to undergo a lot of emotional and physical work to get my body to where it is now, it's really bonded me and helped me to intuitively understand my body. So being pregnant is like, it feels like the most natural thing on the planet right now. So normal, yet at the same time, so weird. And I think that that's what motherhood and being pregnant is like. It's like, there's all these polarities. In this video, I'm and through my journey, this is such a controversial realm, pregnancy and motherhood, but I'm just sharing my story, where I'm coming from. I feel like this is a safe place to share, and I'm super excited to do it because I don't have a whole lot of traffic on my channel, a lot of friends and family and people who support me. I am in a very fortunate place to have people who support me, and I've met new friends since I've been pregnant who are also pregnant simultaneously. And I like, even though I'm so remote and isolated in where I live, like I'm far from any city where there's any type of pregnancy class in person. And I have friends kind of in the States, some in other cities here in Bolivia, across the world, who are supporting me, and it's fulfilling my soul and giving me what I need. I'm very grateful for that. Okay, so this channel, we're going in the direction of, I'm just gonna share with you what being pregnant is like for me in Bolivia, on a farm, in a very colorful community, indigenous community, with some strong traditions and customs, and me just making some very alternative decisions about my life. I'm tempted to be really cautious about sharing some things around birth, especially till more like after they happen, because there's a lot of strong opinions around this. And it's very hard for me to not share everything because I'm just an open book and I'm excited. But I've already learned in these 20 weeks how much I do really need to protect myself. I've been in some situations that have brought fear into my mind and worry that was unnecessary just from outside influences, planting things in my mind. Not cool at all. So what a journey this is going to be. It's going to be so crazy. I have lived my life in such a full way. I look back on my life, and I look back on my YouTube videos. I do this sometimes, like maybe once a year or once every year and a half, I'll look at like some old videos, and I'm just like, what a cool freaking life. And when I had Facebook and my old Instagram, I would look back at old photos every once in a while, and I'm just like, that girl is so freaking blessed. And I got all my wiggles out, as my mom would say. And this yearning to become a mom has been so strong. It's the first time I've ever felt emptiness. I've been an incredibly content person, living alone. I lived alone in Vegas for 8 years, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. I never felt lonely. Never. Like, I'm not lying. I was one of the most content people with being single and without kids. And South America was just like the dream, that I was holding on to. And then once I arrived at this farm and I've created this life and I have a home and I'm stationary, holy moly, that's when things really started to change in my body and in my spirit. Like, something's missing, and it's not just something. It's like being a nurturer, being a mother. And I feel like I have 10 kids all the time that are grown adults because we host volunteers and students here 24/7. We have very few breaks during the year, and I'm just juggling a million things at once. So I feel like that's been really good training for me coming into motherhood. And our lives are going to change a little bit, but also probably stay a lot the same as we navigate into getting closer. I'm due towards the end of January, beginning of February. I think I'm going to be an early February birther. I have a feeling I'm going to go past the 40 weeks, just based on my lifestyle and my birth plan from what I've seen other women and their experiences. But it's also my first time, and so who really knows what's going to happen? Hang on, I'll be right back. Sí. ¿Está saliendo? Wiping off my face because I said goodbye to one of our volunteers who was going to stay with us for a few months, but he misses his daughter, and his daughter's not well, and she's missing him in Argentina. Oh my gosh, the things parents do for their kids is just... This kid, I mean, he's 26 years old. He's been working day with us, night with the restaurant, making very little money, according to me, because he lives in Argentina, and the economy right now is just horrible, and he's been sacrificing his physical, emotional health so he can bring back some money for his family. And it just makes me feel so grateful for the things that I have in the position that I'm in. But the love that parents have for their kids is so, so beautiful and strong. Okay, so where were we? Okay, I don't know what else to share for right now. Oh wait, I could just tell you how I've been feeling. This pregnancy has been insanely easy for me. And if it was just me without any information about pregnancy, I would say, oh, it's been difficult. But knowing what I know about what's normal, it's been a freaking breeze. I haven't thrown up one time. I haven't gotten nauseous at all. I've had 25, 30 other symptoms that are just normal pregnancy symptoms. I've been exhausted, and I actually went to Tarija and partied with my girlfriend, not knowing that I was like a week and a half pregnant. But I was super tired, and I was doing a detox to prepare my body for pregnancy after that trip. And in the middle of it was when, oh yeah, I guess I could just tell you how I found out I was pregnant. Whenever I got back, it was in the middle of this herbal detox that Simon created with some people like 10 years ago maybe or something. I was doing it for the third time, and to prepare my body to get pregnant, thinking it was going to be very difficult. In the middle of this, I was like, I have been needing a nap every single day. Like, just strangely tired. And I thought it was part of the detox, but it kept going. And then, of course, I missed my period. And I have a very healthy, strong menstrual cycle that's very consistent. So I was like, I could be. And I got 2 pregnancy tests here in Miske. Simon was in bed one morning when I first woke up. I wanted to take it, first pee in the morning. And he did not think that I was going to be pregnant. So I'm sitting here at this desk looking at these tests that both came back within seconds. When you're supposed to wait like 2 minutes or something. Seconds, this double strong pregnancy line. And I'm just like, there's no way. This is happening to me. It's my turn. I'm going to go through this crazy transformative experience. And I go show Simon, and he's like, his first reaction was, you're welcome. He's like, you deserve it, baby. Because I've been talking about it, for some, like, we've been talking about having kids since we first met. It was something I made clear to him, because just a couple months before was whenever I had that ayahuasca ceremony. And Simon's going to be 50 in September. So he's 14 years older than me. He already has 2 kids that are teenagers, and they're in California. And so, it could be easy for him not to have any kids or to wait till he's 60 to have another one. And that just wasn't an option for me. I made it very clear to Simon, I don't want to have my first kid when I'm 37. I don't want to give birth then. We might only have one. We just don't know. We don't know how it's going to go with the first one, how we're going to feel. So yeah, having a second one, we just don't know. This could be the only time in my life I ever experienced being pregnant. And it has been so beautiful. I feel beautiful. Simon makes me feel beautiful. The changes in my body, they serve such a beautiful purpose, and I have had zero problem with that. I have been a little shocked with like growing everywhere. I really thought because I'm fit, I eat healthy, I would only be growing here. No. I'm growing everywhere, which is like genetic, has to do with age, has to do with a lot of things. But my chest area is insane. And so it's just very interesting that after all these years of having a period and having breasts, being born with breasts, like their actual design and purpose is going to be brought into their purpose, what they're meant to do. Like, isn't that crazy? I think it's crazy because these have just been like ornaments, you know, my whole life. Like, brought me in money while I was bartending and got some attention and just been fun to play with, you know, and now they're going to be like fulfilling their actual destiny of feeding another human, you know, to carry on a legacy. Like, that's just, it's crazy. So yeah, first trimester, I did have some emotional moments. This isn't spoken about enough, but I bled and actually went through grieving the loss of my child because it was like the blood that the internet says is the one that means you miscarried. So I was about 8 weeks pregnant at this time, and it was during a holiday, and the Miske hospital was closed for 2 days. So I had to wait, and I was just in bed, blinds closed, in a really, really sad place. Short-lived, and it's in the past now, so it just doesn't, I don't even remember like that it happened until I just bring it up right now. But the baby's fine, everything's fine. It was just like a cleansing of old menstruation tissue and stuff like that. And bleeding is very common during first trimester. There's some women who bleed a lot and have completely normal, healthy pregnancies. And that's just not talked about enough. I was really, really scared. So I'm like a totally typical first-time mom. Like, in many ways, I overthink a lot of things. I, you know, worry about if my baby is going to have feet and all its fingers and toes, and if I'm doing everything right, and, you know, avoiding a lot of things that you're supposed to avoid during pregnancy. But at the same time, I'm also very relaxed about some things. I actually did, like, I don't need to go into like what I'm relaxed about because people are going to have opinions about stuff like that. Like, I haven't worn a single ounce of makeup since I've been pregnant, where I would maybe do it once every 3 or 4 months, put on some makeup when I'm like in the city or go out for something special. I've had zero desire to put anything artificial, chemical, perfume on my skin. I already make my own laundry detergents and soaps and shampoos, conditioner. I have my own body butter that I make, and it's like perfect for pregnancy too. Working really, really nice. Yeah, because I read early on about the umbilical cord showing when they've like dissected it. They find a lot of chemicals that absorb from the skin, from creams and lotions and things like that, and hair products, and the umbilical cord being fed to the baby, being toxic to the baby. That's something I've been like paranoid about, you know, things like that. But now I'm in second trimester. I've been eating like a maniac. I've eaten like a maniac this entire pregnancy. I've had 2 ultrasounds. The first one with Simon. Simon couldn't make the second one, unfortunately, because he was super busy with projects here. And I had reasons for those ultrasounds. The first one was like when I thought I miscarried. The second one, I was just feeling very emotionally disconnected to the baby. It's weird when you can't, like, you're pregnant, you have all these symptoms, but you can't actually feel the baby. There's this disconnect, and I really wanted to feel connected. And this was kind of before I knew about the potential of like ultrasound radiation being bad for the baby. So I have my birth plan. I have my birth team set. I got all this stuff figured out very, very early. I have not bought almost anything for the baby. I have bought a lot of pregnancy clothes because I'm overgrowing everything. So every time I go to the city, I stock up on things that I can fit into, specifically bras. But I'm kind of waiting to receive things secondhand, and I might be waiting till last minute to get a lot of baby stuff because I just don't want to buy things unnecessarily. I'm not going to probably have a baby shower. They have baby showers here in my community, but you don't make a registry. Like, you don't request certain things. So literally people can show up with a whole bunch of crap that you're not going to use, and that's just wasteful. Like, It's wasteful for them to spend some money on something you're not going to use. It's also just not good for being ecologically aware, you know? I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of things we're doing and not doing that are very different than where I'm from, which my life is very different in comparison to most people where I'm from. So that's like no surprise there. I think this is like really long already. I thought about making a video on like my first trimester in detail, like what it was like to maybe help other women, because I have binged, like I've gone down the rabbit hole of being a pregnant woman. Like I'm reading 3 books right now on giving birth. Mostly it's for like birth and different methods for that. And I watched so many like positive birth stories, and yeah, I'm obsessed right now. And I knew literally nothing about being pregnant before I actually was pregnant, or about babies. I still don't know anything about babies. We're so excited to raise. I don't think there's anywhere better in the world for me to raise a child and to give birth as well than where we are. We have access to some of the healthiest, most beautiful foods that we grow ourselves, and products we grow locally, and the nature around is so beautiful, and this farm is beautiful. Simon's gonna be a really awesome dad to this little guy or girl. I can imagine both. By the way, I don't have a preference, like, at all. Like, I can imagine him running around with a girl or a boy, and it's gonna be the most badass little kid ever, having us as parents and learning the skills that come with growing up in this environment, and learning just how to be in this environment. It's going to be so cool. I'll show you guys some clips of me walking around, working in the garden, and a little bit of what I've been up to. I really don't have a whole lot. So for the next video, leave me some questions if you'd like to hear more. Oh, you want to see a little bump update? Let's see what's going on down here. I'm like, it's the whole thing. I thought I'd be one of those pregnant women and I'd just like carry it down here. Nope, it's the whole thing. And I started feeling the baby like a week and a half ago, like every day. It's just like little flutters. It almost feels like gas. And it has to be when I'm like really still, really quiet. It's really cute and really fun. So I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all for now. Bye.